Hello my fellow working class heroes, good day. I am Carlo and welcome to Carlo Excels. These are the objectives of this episode. Today we're gonna learn about the text function. So we're gonna start with the text function definition, the applications of the text function, and the different formats of the text function. First of all, what is a text function? The text function converts a numeric value to text and lets you specify the display formatting by using special format strings. This function is useful in situations where you want to display numbers in a more readable format or you want to combine numbers with text or symbols. For the text function, the function name is text, and for the function arguments, first you need the value which you're going to convert into text, and then you're going to need the format of the text. Before anything else, let me first explain what a text function is for. Some of you, after listening to that definition of the text function, may start wondering, what's the big deal? Why would you need to convert value into text? The reason for that is, in some cases, you need to be able to force Microsoft Excel to display values in a certain format. Take for example, the following. So you have here on the first example, the value is 92.125. And then there is a required statement. For example, you're writing a letter to parents and the letter is going to be in Microsoft Excel so that you can automate the writing and the sending of the letters. So the letter has a statement which says, "Congratulations, your child achieved a grade of," and then you want to insert the value or the grade here using concatenation. Doing that using concatenation is easy, so all you will have to do is click on this cell, and just like what we've learned in previous lessons, so let's try entering a text data here. So let's have here, congratulations, your child achieved a grade of space, and then ampersand. You want to combine this, and then you want to have another ampersand so that you can insert the period like so. And then when you press enter, you have here this text data here. Congratulations, your child achieved a grade of 92.125. So for our teachers, especially those who are working with the Department of Education, you know that the Department of Education has this 3 decimal place rule when it comes to honor students. So in other words, we need to be able to display this in 3 decimal places. So of course, a lot of you will think, oh, that's easy. All you will have to do is right click and then pick format cells and then change it to number and then change it to display 3 decimal places, just like what we learned in the past, and press OK so that you display 3 decimal places. However, just like what I've explained in previous lessons, changing the formatting of the cell does not actually change the value of the cell. It only changes the way that Microsoft Excel displays this cell. And changing the formatting of that cell does not change the way that Microsoft Excel will treat the cell when it comes to formulas and concatenation. So take for example, if we're going to do the same operation that we did above with this, for example, so all we have to do, of course, is to Control-C that and then paste that here, because the formulas are going to adjust anyway based on the location of the references. When we press Control-V here, you will notice that what you're going to get is, congratulations, your child achieved a grade of 94.5. Remember, we need 3 decimal places, so this has to be 94.500. Even if the original cell that we are referencing says 94.500 with 3 decimal places, doesn't matter. Microsoft Excel is still going to look at that as 94.5 and therefore will use 94.5 for formulas and for concatenation. So just like we mentioned, you need to be able to force Microsoft Excel to display this in 3 decimal places. And the only way to do this is using the text function. So this is just to show you a sample. I'm going to perform the text function here. So calling out the text function like so, and then using this as the value, and then selecting a format like so with 3 decimal places. And when I press enter, I am able to force, using the text function, I am able to force Microsoft Excel to display 94.500 0, 0 using 3 decimal places. So that is what the text function is for. The text function forces Microsoft Excel to show values in a format that you specify. So before we continue, let me first state that the text function is one of those functions that you will really have to practice for yourself in Microsoft Excel. So unfortunately, I cannot show you all possible combinations and permutations of the formula or the function. You will have to try it for yourself. So after this lesson, I pray that once you realize that you need a text function after this lesson, you will open Microsoft Excel for yourself and then try out different combinations and permutations of the formula and the format text so that you will understand how the text function works. So there are 4 parts to this lesson. We're gonna first talk about the symbols or the characters that the text function is going to display. Next, we're going to talk about using the text function to display numbers. Then we're going to talk about using the text function to display dates, and then using the text function to display time. Let's look at the symbols first. So as far as the format text condition is concerned, if you include any of the following characters in the format text argument, they are displayed exactly as entered. So you can take a screenshot of this, or you can consult Microsoft's own help document regarding this. So you have the characters of the $sign, the plus sign, the left parenthesis, the colon, the caret, the apostrophe, and then next page you also have the left curly bracket, the less than sign, the equal sign, the minus sign, the slash mark, the right parenthesis, and then next page you have the exclamation point, the ampersand, the tilde, the right curly bracket, the greater than sign, and the space character. There is supposed to be a space character here. Of course, it cannot be shown because it is a space character. Now let's proceed to using the text function to forcefully format numbers. So when it comes to the format text argument in the text function when using numbers, these are the following placeholders and these are the descriptions. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to use the placeholders in a while, but just hang on, just look at what the placeholders are and what the descriptions are. So the placeholder of 0 displays insignificant zeros if a number has fewer digits than there are zeros in the format. Next, the hash symbol follows the same rules as the 0. However, Excel does not display extra zeros when the number that you type has fewer digits on either side of the decimal than there are hash symbols in the format. Next, the question mark placeholder follows the same rules as a 0. However, Excel adds a space for insignificant zeros on either side of the decimal point so that decimal points are aligned in the column. Next, the period displays the decimal point in a number. And then we have the slash or the division symbol displays the fraction in a number. So you have here on the screen particular values on the left, and then the condition with which we want to display the numbers. So we have here a display as, and then this is the sample placeholder that we're gonna use. And then I'm gonna show you how to use the text function using these conditions. So first example, we want to force Microsoft Excel to display the value of 0.9. We want to force 2 decimal places after the number, but we were not going to force the ones digit if in case there is no ones digit. Please note, of course, that the original value that we're going to use is 0.9. It does not have 2 decimal places. It only has 1 decimal place, but we want to force 2 decimal places anyway. So let's use the text formula now. So press the equal sign and then call upon the text function like this. So it's looking for a value as its first argument, so we can click on this cell as a reference as the value that we want to use. Next, let's press the comma sign so that we can move on to the next argument. So it's now looking for format text. So before we start using the formatting, we first have to enclose them. Please remember this, enclose them in quotation marks to indicate that this is the format that we want Microsoft Excel to follow. So if you remember the placeholders a while ago, we want to use the hash symbol if we want to have, let's call it optional digits, but we want to place zeros if we want to force Microsoft Excel to show those digits. So just like what we mentioned a while ago, the ones digit is optional, but we want to force Microsoft Excel to display 2 decimal places. So because the ones digit is optional, let's put in the hash symbol there, and then the 2 decimal places are forced, so we use the 0, just like what you can see here. And then we close the parenthesis and then press enter. So now you will see here the resulting displayed text here is 9.90 because once again, one's value is optional, but the 2 decimal places are forced. So from display that looks like this to display that looks like this. How do we know that the ones digit is optional? Well, we can try changing this value here. So let's try changing it to 1.9. If you change it to 1.9, you will see that Microsoft Excel has now changed the formatting to 1.9. And if you change it back to 0.9, because there is no value in the ones digit, Microsoft Excel puts it back to 0.90 without showing any digit in the ones digit. Next example, we want to force 2 decimal places after the number, but this time, instead of having the ones digit optional, we want to force the ones digit. So once again, we use a text function, and then this is the value here. And then for the format text, so once again, we use the quotation marks. Again, we want to force the ones digit like this. So we use a 0 to force it. And then we have the decimal place. And then we forcefully have 2 decimal places like so. And then we press enter. So what you have now is a forced ones digit, which is 0. And then you have 2 decimal places, which is, in this case, forced also. Next examples here. First of all, we changed the values from 0.9. Now we have a value of 9.55. These are values. For the first example in this series, we want to force 2 whole digits with no decimal places. So we want to force 2 digits. In other words, we want it to not display as 9. We want to display it as 09. So let's invoke the text function again. And then let's place this as the value. And in this case, because we want to force 2 digits, we want to place here 00 like so. So when we press enter, you will have a forced value of 10. So some of you may be wondering, wait, isn't this supposed to be 9, not 10? Well, what Microsoft Excel does in this case is, because you're not placing any decimal places, but it has a value of 9.55, the 0.55 there has been rounded off by Microsoft Excel. That is why it is displaying here 10. So we can actually prove this by simply changing this 9.55. Let's see just 9 like so. And you will see Microsoft Excel is forcing the 0 before the 9. So you have here 09. Next, we want to force 2 whole digits. Just like what's written here, we want to force 2 whole digits. We want to force at least 1 decimal place, and the other decimal places are optional. So this is the placeholder that we're going to use for that. So you'll see here, we force 2 whole digit places, and then after that, force 1 decimal place, and then the other decimal places are optional. So text, like so, and then value over here, and then the format is forcing 2 whole digits, forcing 1 decimal place, and then other digits optional like so. And when we press enter, you will get 09.55. So forcing 2 whole digits, 09, and then 0.55, 1 decimal place forced, the other one's optional. In fact, if you change this to 9, just like a while ago, you will see here that the conditions are still followed because of how we formatted the text. So we have here forcing 2 whole digits, 09, and then the first decimal place is forced. Even though the value is 0, it is still shown here 0.90. The rest are optional. Next example here, we want to force 2 whole digits, and then we want to force 3 decimal places. So this is what the placeholder is supposed to look. The placeholder, the format text is supposed to look like now. So let's invoke the text function again, like so. This is the value. And then for the placeholder, 2 forced whole digits and then 3 forced decimal places like so. And when we press enter, that is exactly what we get. Next, let's use the question mark placeholders. Just like what was stated a while ago, the question mark placeholders are very useful when alignment is a problem. We want the decimal places, we want all of the digit places to be aligned, usually in two cases. For accounting reasons, because of course we want the centavos and we want the hundreds and the thousands and all of the digits to be properly aligned. And at the same time, it's also useful for fractions because we want the numerators and the denominators and the slashes, or in other words, the division symbol, to be all aligned. So let's try that. First of all, these are decimal places, but we want to convert them into fractions and we want to state the alignment. So we want to align these fractions. There should be 2-digit places for each, for the numerator and the denominator. So this is the format text that is best for a case like this. So let's try that. Text function, value is this, and then placeholder is this, like so. And when we press enter, we have this. And for convenience sake, let's just try copying this formula and then paste them all the way down here, because anyway, the formulas will adjust. And then you have here the following results for these particular values here. So you will notice that for the first two values here, you have 2-digit places for each, the numerator and the denominator. But for the last one, 4.75 is simply 4 3/4. But you will notice that even if there is only 1-digit place for the 3 and the 4, Microsoft Excel made sure to align the 4 3/4 properly with this fraction over here and this fraction over here. So that is what the question mark is for when it is used as a placeholder for the text function. It is useful for making sure that the values are aligned properly. So for the next series, you have here align fractions, 1-digit place each for numerator and denominator, and this will be what our placeholder, our format text is going to look like. So let's try that. Text function, this will be the value, and then the format is going to be question mark space, and then question mark, like this. Press enter, and then you have 1.25 converted to 1 1/4. So let's copy that, paste that down here. So you have, once again, fractions, properly aligned fractions, converted from decimals using the text function. Next, let's talk about using the text function for dates. So these are the various formats or placeholders for using the text function for dates. So the placeholder of just one single M displays the month as a number without a leading zero. 2 M's display the month as a number with a leading zero when appropriate. So in other words, January, when using 1 M, will be displayed as 1. And then 2 M's will be displayed, January will be displayed as 01. 3 M's displays the month as an abbreviation. So Jan to December, Jan to Dec, the abbreviations. 4 M's displays the month as a full name, January to December, and then 5 M's displays the month as a single letter, J to D. Next, 1D displays the day as a number without a leading zero. 2D's displays the day as a number with a leading zero when appropriate. So for example, January 1 will be displayed as January 1 with 1D, and then will be displayed as January 01 with 2Ds. For 3Ds, it displays the day as an abbreviation, Sun to Sat. 4Ds will display the day as a full name, so Sunday to Saturday. 2Ys will display the year as a 2-digit number, and 4Ys will display the year as a 4-digit number. So let's try using the dates. What we have here on the left are date values, so it all shows the date of July 9, 2021. Say for example, you want to display just the abbreviated month. So in other words, this is going to be Jul, J-U-L. So placeholder, just like what was shown a while ago, placeholder is 3 M's for the abbreviated month. So text formula, so text function like this. This is the value. And then once again, we place the placeholders within quotation marks. So MMM, because that is the format we need. So you now have Jul here. Next, let's say we want to display the single letter month and the day without a leading zero. So the answer here is going to be J9. So let's try that. Text function. This is the date we want to convert into text. And then the format is going to be single letter month. That's 5 M's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then space and the day with a leading zero. So DD, like so. When we press enter, that's what we get, J09. Next example here, we want to display the abbreviated month and the full year. So abbreviated month, once again, is MMM, and then full year is YYYY. So let's try that. Text, equals text, and then this is the date we want to show, and then abbreviated month is 1, 2, 3 M's, and then full year is 4 Y's, 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And then we press enter, we have here June 2021. Next example, we want to display 2-digit month, day, and year with dashes as delimiters. So this is what it's going to look like. So MM-DD-YY. So we can expect that this is supposed to look like 07-09-21. So let's try that. Text. This is the value we want. And then placeholders are going to be MM-DD-YY, close quotation, close parenthesis, and then that's what we have, 07-09-21. And lastly, what if we want to display the full name of the month, the day, and the year, and the full name of the day of the week? So we have here 4 M's displays the full name of the month, and then the day, just 1 D, and then the year, 4 Y's, and then you have the day of the week, which is 4 D's. Of course, note where the commas are, because that's where the commas are going to appear when we do this. So text function, and then once again, this is the date that we want to use, and then we enter the placeholders. So 4 M's, because that is what we want. We want to display the full name of the month, and then 1 D for the year, comma, full year, so 4 Y's, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the day of the week, which is 4 D's, 1, 2, 3, 4, close quotation, close parenthesis. When you press enter, that's what we get. Full name, July 9, 2021. Full name of the day of the week, Friday. In fact, as a proof of concept, we can try changing the date value here and try to see if the text function is going to adjust accordingly. So let's say April 8th, 2022, and then let's copy this data here and then paste it all the way down. So you will notice, of course, that all of these have already adjusted accordingly based on the placeholders, based on the formatting that we specified. Let's proceed to using the text function for time data. So just like we had a while ago, these are the placeholders. So 1H displays the hour as a number without a leading zero. Putting the H in brackets displays elapsed time in hours. If you're working with a formula that returns a time in which the number of hours exceeds 24, use a number format that resembles this. So you have H in a bracket so that Microsoft Excel will display it if there are more than 24 hours. So you have here 2 H's, displays the hour as a number with a leading zero when appropriate. If the format contains AM or PM, as I will show you later, the hour is shown based on a 12-hour clock. Otherwise, the hour is shown based on a 24-hour clock. Next, we have the placeholders for minutes, which are represented also by the letter M. Now, let me warn you regarding this. You have to use the placeholders for minutes in conjunction with the placeholders for hours and the placeholders for seconds. Because if you use the placeholders for minutes by themselves, they will be converted into months, because Microsoft Excel is also using, unfortunately, M for months as well. So 1M displays the minute as a number without a leading zero. Note, the M or the MM code must appear immediately after the H or HH, just like what I said. Otherwise, Excel displays the month instead of the minutes. Putting the M within brackets displays elapsed time in minutes. If you're working with a formula that returns a time in which the number of minutes exceeds 60, use a number format that resembles the M in brackets, just like what you see here. Next, 2M's displays the minute as a number with a leading zero when appropriate. So once again, use the M in conjunction with the H and the S. Otherwise, MM will appear as months instead of minutes. And lastly, S is for seconds. S displays the number, the seconds as a number without a leading zero. S with a bracket displays elapsed time in seconds when you're working with something that exceeds 60 seconds. SS displays the second as a number with a leading zero when appropriate. Finally, you have here the following: either capital AM or PM, small letters AM or PM, capital A or P, or small letters A or P. Displays the hour based on a 12-hour clock. Excel displays AM or A for times from midnight until noon, and PM for times from noon until midnight. So once again, we have here the following examples. On the left are time data, and then these are the conditions with which we want to display them. First example, we want to display just the hour using the 24-hour format. So 13 o'clock, 13:39:15, we want to display just the hour. So this is the placeholder that we're going to use. So text formula, like so. Once again, this is the value, time value, and then we just need the hour, 24-hour time format. So you have 13, which is just the hour. Next example, we want to display the hour and the minutes using a 24-hour format. So let's try that. Text, and then this value here. And then once again, we want the hour and then the minutes using the 24-hour time format. Press enter, we get 13:39. Next, we want to display the hour and the minutes, but this time we want to use a 12-hour format. Just like what was stated a while ago, if you do not place an AM or PM in the placeholders, Excel will automatically display that as 24-hour time formats. But if you place an AM or PM in the placeholder, Microsoft Excel will immediately recognize that and then will display the time in a 12-hour time format. So let's try that. We want to display the hours and minutes, 12-hour format. So let's try that. Text, like so. This time here. And then the format of the text is hours and then minutes, space, AM or PM, like this. Press enter. Whoops. Error. I forgot the quotation mark. Like this. And then press enter. So you have here 13:39, just the hours and minutes, 12-hour time format, 1:39 PM. Next example, we want to display the hour and minutes using a 12-hour format, but this time we want to force a 2-digit hours. So 2-digit hours, you have 8HH and then MM, and then once again 12-hour format. So we have here an AM and PM. So let's try that. Text function, and then this is the value, and then quotation mark, 2-digit hours, 2-digit minutes, and then AM or PM to have a 12-digit format. Press enter. That is exactly what we get, 01:39 PM. Next example, display the hours, minutes, and seconds using a 24-hour format. Once again, if we want to use a 24-hour format, that means we should not put an AM, PM placeholder there. So, hours, minutes, and seconds will look like this. So, text function, this is the value, and then the placeholder, hours, minutes, and then seconds, like this. Press enter, that is what we get. Next, we want to display the elapsed minutes. So, we don't want the hours, we want to display the elapsed minutes and the seconds. So, this is what it looks like. Elapsed minutes, we have to put in the brackets there. So, let's try that. Text function, this is the value, and the placeholder, brackets over here for the minutes, and then seconds, like so. When you press enter, you have here a value of 819 and then 15. So what that means is 13 hours and 39 minutes is a total of 819 minutes. And then of course, you add in 15 seconds. And lastly, let's try this. We want to display the elapsed seconds. So how many seconds are there in 13 hours and 39 minutes and 15 seconds total? So let's try that. Text function, and then this is the value, and then the placeholder is elapsed seconds, like so. When we press enter, we get the value of 49,155. So that means there are 49,155 seconds in 13 hours, 39 minutes, and 15 seconds. That's it for using the text function to force convert numbers, dates, and times into text according to the format that we specify. But there's one very important thing that you have to note regarding the text function. Just like what the name implies, text function, please note that when you use a text function, the results of the text function are text data. Even though these look like numbers, these are text data. So therefore, these are data that you cannot use for calculations, because just like what we've mentioned again and again, text data cannot be used for calculation. So therefore, you cannot sum these, you cannot subtract them, you cannot perform any operations on them. Same with the dates. These are text data. That's not value data. You cannot use that for calculations. And these times over here cannot be used for calculation. All of that are text once you use the text function. If you want to convert the results of the text function back to value data, you will have to use the value, the date value, and the time value function whenever appropriate, just like we already discussed in a previous lesson. So that's it for the text function in Microsoft Excel. Once again, I am Carlo, and this is Carlo Excels. Thank you very much for watching.